So Hardcore WoW's been on my radar for a hot minute. Ever since its official release, I've been occasionally watching other people play it while also thinking, hey, that looks neat. I'd only ever played a handful of characters using the Hardcore add-on before, but never really got very far. Either I'd gotten distracted with other things and abandoned the characters, or, that's not important. Anyways, I think it might finally be time to change that and dive right into the deep end. In retail, I love going around and getting the Loremaster achievements. Quests are pretty much my favorite part of the game, except for when I got way too into Mythic Plus.
No.
That should turn me into a monster. But quests are fun. You get to experience the story, get better gear along the way, and definitely not die. You see, that's the struggle with Hardcore. With only one life, the difficult quests are suddenly a lot more difficult, and it's generally a good idea to skip a bunch of them. So instead of doing that, we're just gonna do all of them. So, to start things off, we chose a human paladin. I know, very original. But paladins look fun. You can bonk people real good and use spells that will help you bonk a little better. I like seeing big numbers, they make me happy. As a paladin, we can bonk, heal, buff, and well, that's kinda it actually. Peak gameplay. But starting off in Northshire, we find ourselves as a concerned citizen enlisted to help defend our home. That almost makes it sound like they're just picking up anybody off the street. Like, hey lady, here's a hammer, go hit things. Northshire itself has a good handful of problems that it needs to solve. Kobolds have infested the forest and gold mine. Thieves have claimed the local vineyard and are stealing the grapes, and I don't know, this guy just really wants some steak. I mean, I get it, it's a starting area, so you've got to have some quests to kill wolves, but there's just all these problems and this man's just hungry. I support him. First up, we'll deal with the kobolds, starting with vermin and working our way up to workers, and finally the laborers inside. I love how they just let you run around in here, they're completely unbothered. The thieves, however, care a great deal that you're in their territory. When they see you, it's on sight. Though these aren't just any thieves, they call themselves the Defias Brotherhood, and this little section of them is led by a lad named Garrick Padfoot. And while bonking some hooligans, we'll also go about collecting some grapes for Millie and save her harvest for her. How nice. With the kobolds bullied and the Defias sufficiently bonked, we've successfully saved the lands of Northshire. Hooray! So stupid. But of course, this is only the beginning of our struggles, as we're only level 5. Just 55 more to go. Though of course, levels aren't our core objective here. Ultimately, it's to complete all the quests, but we'll get there eventually. And on that topic, you've probably noticed this little box down in the corner. This is an add-on called All the Things, and it's one of the 2 whole add-ons I have installed, the other being the Death Tracker. It helps to track collectible things along with quests. In Classic it's pretty straightforward, but in Retail it's a bit of a mess since there's so many things to collect anymore. Arriving in Goldshire, we meet Marshal Dugan. Doug. Marshal Doug here awards us with the title of Acting Deputy Marshal with the Stormwind Marshals, whatever that means, my dude. Anyways, Doug wants us to investigate the Fargo Deep Mine, believing it to also be infested with kobolds. Around town, some of the other residents also want us to collect gold dust and candles while we're in there. It's like they know that kobolds are down there, even though Doug only has rumors to work on. Come on, Doug. Very quickly before heading into the mine, though, we'll make a short trip to Stormwind to pick up some professions. I'd like to do mining as well as blacksmithing, so I can make myself weapons and armor. In the hardcore space, I'm pretty sure that engineering is the go-to profession for a lot of people because of the utility that it offers, but So now, with a single copper coin to our name, we head to the Fargo Deep Mine, taking a brief stop at the local farms to pick up some more quests. Auntie Bernice here lost her necklace and suspects Billy McClure from the neighboring farm has taken it. Ma Stonefield, right beside her, wants us to kill an award-winning pig named Princess, since they keep eating her vegetables. She's really out here just resorting to violence immediately. Damn grandma, who hurt you? One farm over, we speak to Billy, who maybe knows where the necklace is, but demands food in return, specifically a pork belly pie made by Bernice. So to satiate this child, we kill all the livestock and get him a pie. Sounds good to me, I guess. But before we leave the farm, Maybelle needs our help. She's hopelessly in love with Tommy Joe Stonefield, but both families are bitter enemies and would never allow it. And so, Juliet wishes for us to deliver a letter to her dear Romeo, and deliver it we shall, we'll do anything in the name of love. Back at the Stonefields, we retrieve our pie from Bernice. Bernadetta? Bernice. Back at the Stonefields, we retrieve our pie from Bernice and deliver our letter to Tommy, who's dramatically looking out across the river. Would you call this a river? Never mind. Tommy's sure that if anyone can facilitate the two meeting, it'd be his grandma, who then points us in the direction of William Pestle in Goldshire. Looking back at this now, this would have been a really nice spot to give Billy his pie as he sends us into the mine to kill a specific kobold. But instead, we're just gonna head right in. Now, a fun thing about the Far Deep Mine, or really just anywhere in general, when there's a lot of players in an area, the game will ramp up spawn rates to accommodate for the number of players there. In most cases, it's not much of an issue, since if you get things spawning on top of you, you can just run off. However, in a cave, there's nowhere to run if things start spawning in behind you again. Thus, this mine has seen a lot of dead characters. Thankfully, though, the traffic has somewhat calmed down and we're able to do this somewhat normally. With our dust and candles all collected, we return to Goldshire to deliver the goods. I swear this isn't shady at all. Don't mind the baggies of gold dust that we're distributing, officers. Anyways, we tell Marshal Doug about the kobolds, and he's absolutely floored. He can't believe that the mine is infested with them. Knowing of another mine in the forest, he also wants us to explore the Jasperlode mine to the east. Speaking of the east, Remy Ratatouille here is worried about the Murloc presence to the east, as they've been scaring away the fish and attacking the gentlefolk. However, Doug proclaims that any rumors of Murlocs are, and I quote, sketchy at best. In delivering Grandma's letter to William, he then sends us off to find crystal kelp to craft an invisibility potion for the two lovers. And where would we get these kelp prawns, you might ask? From the Murlocs right outside of Goldshire, like they're literally just right here. Like, Doug, what do you mean sketchy at best? They're literally right here. For being a marshal, I swear he's the last to get told about anything. After getting jumped by some Murlocs and taking our kelp, we're able to return to William so he can get working on our potion. But before we deliver that, it's time for another trip to Stormwind so we can get ourselves some strength potions and... Oh. Cool. While in the city, we do a couple odd jobs here and there, like turning in a wine ticket for free wine, delivering a sewing kit to this lady's son because he forgot it, and getting this bub some more cloth. Just don't worry about why he has a skull on him. I swear I'm good at finding people in a city. Returning to Billy, we hand over the pie Bernice made for him, and he confesses to dropping the necklace near the Fargadeep mine. Afterwards, a large, gold-toothed kobold took it and ran back inside, so... into the mine we go again, but not before delivering the invisibility potion to Maybelle. Now, during this venture into the mine, I was feeling a bit ballsy, which is the last thing you want to do on hardcore. I was feeling so safe, like I had an answer to everything that could get thrown at me. I was unstoppable. So of course, when we'd entered, I went to seek out this rare kobold inside. Narg, the Taskmaster, this level 10 rare that's in the back of the mine. Normally the other kobolds would be level 5 or 7, but nah, he's just way above that. He's too good for them. He's level 10. He's... fuck, dude. Not only is he just higher level than everyone else, but he also has this little friend with him, and some very sketchy pulls beforehand. But of course, as a paladin, we can handle just about anything, I think. After forcing me to use nearly everything at my disposal, we're finally able to beat him and find that it wasn't worth it at all. Oh well, at least we know what we're capable of now, I guess. Just a little further into the cave, we find Goldtooth, and looking back at the footage, it's so obvious that this bub wanting to group with me was a rogue that was stealthed nearby. In the moment, though, I didn't think anything of it because I couldn't visibly see anybody directly around me. So if you're out there somewhere, Brended, I'm sorry. With Goldtooth disposed of and the necklace returned to Bernice, all that remained was to seek out God and Thomas and explore the Jasperlode mine. Just like the Foggerdeep mine before it, this one was also crawling with kobolds, and as well as a couple spiders in the very back. Once again, though, I felt like nothing could stop me. Surely this doesn't come back to bite us later. Not too far away, we find guard Thomas the Tank Engine, who's worried about several other guards that haven't come back from investigating the river. While we're out, he'd also appreciate if we could rid some of the surrounding forest of a couple wolves and bears. Not too far up the river, we find what's left of Malachi, and not too far from there, we find what's left of Rolf. Life has many doors, Ed boy. Both of them are absolutely annihilated by the local Murlocs. Oh man, maybe those rumors weren't so sketchy after all, Doug. Well, we're out dealing with the local wildlife. A nearby lumber mill is also in need of aid. Because of said wildlife, workers have been running away from the lumber they've chopped up, so we might as well just pick those up while we're out. On top of that, Sarah here wishes to make something out of red linen and immediately settles upon killing members of the Defias Brotherhood to get them. Just like Grandma, she's just choosing violence today. We return to Thomas and tell him about the guards, to which he wants us to inform Doug of their passing. First, though, we've got a forest to clean up. Armed with just a mere shovel, it's time for the bonking to commence. Anyways, turning those in, Thomas informs us that we should seek out Brian Stoutmantle in Westfall, thinking that we could help them out as well. For now, though, it's time to turn our attention to farm number 3, the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch. So, a fun fact for anyone who's unaware. Princess and her entourage have this really fun little ability where they can charge at their target and do a good bit of damage. I didn't know this at the time. I'd come up with this whole plan to use the fence as a mean to heal. I would fight them on one side of it and jump over to the other, and as they're kiting around, I would heal and would just repeat the process over and over again. While that might have worked with the Defias, this made things so much more difficult than it needed to be with Princess. I mean, just look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Never before have I been so humbled by a game. Like, this was their way of just saying, hey, we could kill you right now if we really wanted to, but we're not. I'm amazed that one of them just didn't glitch through the fence and kill me right there. Though after resetting, we thought maybe the straightforward approach might be a little better, and it was a lot better. They gave me absolutely no trouble when I started the fight in melee. So cool! I guess I'll just keep that in mind for future boars. Great. With Princess dead, all we really had left was to collect the bandanas for Sarah, and in the process of doing so, we stumbled across the bag. So there's this fun running joke sort of thing in Hardcore, where if you find a lot of bags in a character, that means they're likely going to die pretty early. Well, if you haven't noticed, this is bag number 3, and after that Princess fight, maybe we don't have all that much longer to live. But, existential dread aside, it's time to turn everything in. We retrieve our nice red shirt from Sarah and inform Doug of the Murlocs and guards. Doug's really just going through it, honestly. First we tell him that every gold mine in Elwynn is infested with kobolds, and then we tell him that Murlocs just murdered 2 of his guards. Lad's just having a wonderful day. He then tells us to head all the way back to Sarah to get some armor from her, while also telling us about Westbrook Garrison, as they currently have a gnoll problem. The blacksmith would also like us to seek out Elmore and Stormwind, as they need somebody to help with a delivery to Loch Modan to the north. Though, maybe we save that run for later. That doesn't sound too great right about now. Now that we're level 10, we can start assigning talent points, and I choose Holy so I can have more strength to bonk things better. We need bigger numbers, it's very important, I swear. Around this time too, I realized I can make a 2-handed mace for myself. That's significantly better than the shovel. Knowing I have Hogger to look forward to, and I'll likely end up soloing him, I'll need every advantage I can get. So, while going back to Sarah at the lumber mill, I grabbed every note of copper that I could find. We were going to need a lot to rank ourselves up to 65 blacksmithing. So it was time to farm. Along the way, I'd found this house that had a little goblin dockmaster in it, and a note. If you're not a rogue, just don't even mess with this house, dude. You're probably gonna die. Back at the Benedict Pumpkin Patch, I begin killing more Defias to try and get the Westfall Deed, an item that starts a quest to head into Westfall. It took some doing, but thankfully it was able to drop in a decently timely manner. Nearby, God Thomas wants us to deal with those sketchy murlocs, and we make pretty short work of them. Now, truly all we really had left were Hogger and the Gnolls. I searched all throughout Elwynn for more ore, knowing that I was now under a time constraint as my last strength potion only had so much left of it. We needed to get the copper for our maul and kill Hogger before it ran out. So, off to work we went, mining up every bit of copper we could get. Our journey took us all around the forest and even back to the Fargo Deep Mine until finally, we'd gotten enough. The heavy copper maul was ours, and it was finally time to deal with the lad himself. At Westbrook Garrison, Deputy Raynor also asks us to collect some armbands from the Gnolls. A large pack of them had set up nearby, and it was too much for them to handle alone, so hey, go in and handle this alone. We charge into the camp and kill Gnoll after Gnoll, until we see him in the distance. Towering over all the other Gnolls, Hogger now stands before us. And just like that, Hogger had been defeated. Following that, all we really had left in Elwynn were a couple of random quests. While in the area, we got the rest of our armbands and tried to find the gold pickup schedule, another item that starts a quest. According to Wowhead, the Gnolls here have a 3% chance to drop this item. Now, just really quick for me, think of a number. Think about how many Gnolls that you think this might have taken me. Maybe something like 12, 20, 30, 50. No, it took me 89 Gnolls for me to find this, split between 2 different sessions of playing. It was, not great, to say the least. We return the schedule to the clueless Marshal Doug, and he sends us off to go find this individual known as the Collector. In one final trip to the Pumpkin Patch, we collect our ring and finish all of our quests in Elwynn. Except, not really. Quests later on will send us back here again, but we'll limit those to when they're relevant. Though in one final string of quests, at level 12, Paladins get their own specific quest line. Brother Wilhelm here wants us to seek out Dithorian Rahl in Stormwind, as it's time to put our skills as a Paladin to the test. We're given the Tome of Divinity, which he wants us to study to learn more about the light and being truly virtuous. After definitely studying the book, our first objective is to find somebody pure of heart who's in need of aid. Stephanie Turner in the Trade District is running low on cloth, which she's been using to make clothing for the children of the orphanage. Thankfully, we have the linen lying around, and we're sent right back to our boy to tell him about our good deed. After getting a gold star for being a good noodle, we're given a symbol of life and pointed to the direction of Dithorian's friend, Gazin. Gazin and his buddy Hens were investigating the Defias near Stone Cairn Lake before they were attacked. Gazin was able to escape thanks to Hens fending them off, and he wants us to go return and look for Hens. Searching the lake, we find him collapsed on a hill and revive him using the symbol of life. How dare this lad cheat on a hardcore server right in front of me? While he recuperates, we're sent to bonk the nearby Defias mages until one of them drops the Defias script. Thankfully, it didn't take 89 this time, only just 2. We finish by returning to Gazin and informing him that his friend will be okay, followed up by updating Dithorian on all we'd accomplished. He congratulates us on our growing abilities and gives us the redemption spell to resurrect people. I'm sure we'll get a whole lot of use out of this. And now with that, we're officially done with quests in Elwynn Forest for the time being. All that remains is to cross the bridge to Westfall. Surely this will be fine.